today we're going to learn more things about arrays. So basically, I have here a program with two different arrays, array A and array B. They're both integer arrays. Array A has 10 elements, array B has 5 elements. To initialize the arrays, for array A, I have a for loop, and I'm just storing the value of I for each of the element in the array. So element A0 will have a value of 0, A1 will have a value of 1, and so on until A9 will have the value of 9. For array B, I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to use this arrays.fill function to initialize the array. So basically, I'm loading all cells in the array with the value of 3. So I'm filling the array with the value of 3 from B0 through B4, since the array has 5 elements. Next over here, I have a function here, arrays.equals, to check the two arrays. I'm checking if array A is equal to array B. And if they are equal, this will return true. And then I would print out the arrays are equal. If it returns false, means they're not equal, I would print out the arrays are not equal. And down here, I'm just printing out all the values in array A. I skip a line, then I print out all the values in array B. Okay, so let's give this a run, and there it is. So it initialized the array, it loaded the array. A is loaded from 0 to 9, B is loaded from 0 to 3. Here I check to see if the arrays are equal. In this case, the two arrays are not equal because one is longer and the values are 0 to 9, the other one is shorter and it's all 3. So the arrays are not equal. So it printed the message, the arrays are not equal. And then basically here, I just printed the array A. And I printed the array B here. And so far that's all we have. Now, the next question for today, well, basically, this is how you get the length of the array, and this is how you fill the array with a constant number. Since this is an integer array, the value here has to be an integer. So that's how you fill the array with the same number in all the cells. The next question is, what if you need to copy the array? How would you copy the array? So the obvious thing to do would be to say array B equals to array A, because usually that's what we do when we want to set B to equal to certain things. That's all we do, right? So let me try that and run it, and look at that, it worked. It says the arrays are equal, and array A is now the same as array B. So that worked. That did what we wanted to do, until we try to change an element in array A. So let's say we set the array A element 0 equals to -1. And now let's try and run this again. So we left the array B untouched with just changing element 0 in array A. And look at that. it says the arrays are still equal. So how is that possible? Since we only changed array A, we didn't change array B, right? So we would expect the two arrays to be unequal now, but they are still equal. And look at that. I only changed the array A to -1, but it also changed the first element in the array B to -1. And the reason for that is when you do array B equals to array A, it doesn't create a new copy of the array A, but it actually just using array A, and it points both B and A to the same array. So now both variable A and variable B are pointing to the same array location. So when you change that array, when you change either A or B, it would automatically change the other one because they are both the same array. So let's verify that. If I go and change B, location 3 to 33, I would expect that to change also location 3 in array A to 33. Let's verify, and there it is. So I only changed array B to 33, and it automatically changed array A. And the arrays are always equal because they are both the same exact array. They are the same array. They're just pointing to the same array. So now you ask, how do we make a copy of the array to have two separate arrays? So one way to do it would be to use arrays dot copy of, and I just want to pick the right type, so I have an integer array. Here I want to enter the original array, so I'm copying array A to array B, and then you have the option to specify the length of the B array. So when you copy, you can specify the length of the B array. So let's say if I want to make an exact copy of array A to array B, I would put in length, or maybe A dot length. Where's my A dot length? That was it. Let me check again. A dot length. There it is. Okay, so this would give me an exact copy of A for B. But in this case, it would be two separate arrays. It's not pointing to the same array anymore. It's going to create a new separate array that looks identical to A. Let's verify. So the arrays are equal, and you can see array A and array B are identical, but they are not the same array. So now if you go and change the element 0 of array A to -1, hopefully it would not change the array B. And as you can see now, it says the arrays are not equal because I changed element 0 in array A, but it left array B untouched. And that is actually what we want. We want two separate copies of the array. And as I mentioned before, you can specify a different length here for array B. So if you want to copy the array A, but you want to make the array B shorter, you can just specify the length of array B here. For example, you want to make B to be just 7 elements long, right? I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna run it. and now the arrays are not equal. The reason is, even though the values are the same from 0 to 6, the array A is longer than the array B, because array A has 10 elements, array B only has 7 elements. So that's why the arrays are not equal. You can make the array B longer than array A. So instead of copying the array A exactly, you can make array B 15 elements. And I'm gonna run that. And let's take a look. And there it is. Oh, there's an error. Okay, let's take a look to see why there's an error. So it copied the array A, it copied all of the array A to array B, and the arrays are not equal, but we have an error. So this one actually did the copy, and then we checked to see if the arrays are equal. It executed this statement. It says the arrays are not equal, and then it printed array A. It printed the blank line, and then it was trying to print array B. That's where it crashed. And probably the reason for that is when you're creating extra space, extra cells in the array B, those cells are not initialized, so they probably have the null value in them, and that's why you get the null value error. So let me try something to correct that. Instead of using the for each loop, I'm gonna try and use the for loop. So this way I wouldn't have to store the value of each element of B into the integer, because if the element in array B has a null value and you try and store that into an integer, that would definitely be not a good thing. So I'm gonna use a for loop now, and I'm gonna print out B. So I'm gonna print it directly without storing the value of B in any variable. I'm just gonna print out the value of B. I can leave this one and we'll see what's going on there. Alright, try and run this. Let me double check one more time to make sure. So for I equals 0 to B length, we're printing the value of BI. And yes, that looks like it's working. You can see here it's printing the B array from 0 to 9, and these are the extra 5 cells that we added to B, because A was 10 elements long and now B has 15 elements long. But when it added the elements, it didn't initialize the elements to 0, it left them at null. And that's why when you do the for each loop, you're trying to store a null value in those elements from B into the variable, the integer variable I, and the system didn't like that. So we're replacing it with this for loop here, and that fixed the problem. So let me fix that. I'm gonna go up here and let me remove this statement here. So this way we remove the error from our program. Save, run. The arrays are not equal because one array is 5 elements longer than the other one, but now there is no more error. Right, so let's do a quick review. Today we learned a few things. Some are new, some are not new. We learned how to get the length of the array by having the array name dot length. We learned how to clone the array. Or did we learn how to clone the array? I'm not sure if I went over it yet, but let me go over it real quick. To clone the array, so you can do one of two things. You can do arrays.copy, or you can do array B equals to array A, which when you do this, then they're both, the two pointers are pointing to the same location, so you don't want that, but you can do array B equals to A dot clone, and that should give you two separate copies. So let's see if that's true. We'll run it. And there it is. You can see that the arrays are equal. They are both equal. And here's the true test. If we go and change the element 0 of array A to -1, will that also change the B array? And here it is. The arrays are not equal, so it only changed the element in the A array, and the B array has not been changed. So when you do array.clone, you actually get two separate arrays. They are not pointing to the same array. So we got array name dot clone, or the other way to copy an array would be arrays dot copy of. And we also learn how to initialize an array, where we use arrays.fill. And did we learn anything else? Oh, one more. Arrays.equals, where we check to see if the two arrays are equal. And this returns a Boolean value. If the arrays are equal, it returns true. Otherwise, it's false. Alright everyone, thank you for watching. That's our lesson for today.